What's up, everybody? Renfail here. Hopefully you are doing well. This is a community requested video that I finally had time to sit down and make, which is Corvette building in No Man's Sky versus ship building in Starfield. Now, I love both of these games equally for different reasons, and the Corvette building that No Man's Sky just added with the Voyagers Update 6.0 is absolutely an iteration off of the Starfield shipbuilding, including some of the modules that they have, which is awesome. I think it's great when companies riff off of each other and use those things to create new and exciting features and mechanics for the future. I love both of these games, so I absolutely love sinking my teeth into both aspects of this. The Corvette building in No Man's Sky is in its first iteration, whereas with the Starfield shipbuilding, they've had a few iterations now. The game's been out for a while. So let's take a look. We're logged into No Man's Sky right now, so we can take a look at this one first. I've got my Aegis of the Ether here, which is a ship that I put together on stream recently. This is the ship I'm going to be using for my current questing, which we're about to kick off to unlock the autophage. We have a sort of beetle-looking ship. I put this together from scratch. And as you can see, we can look through here. There's all these different modules that we can select and hover over. And up on the top left, you'll, well, I guess bottom right first, or bottom center, you can see move, duplicate, delete, adjust camera. We go up and down, so on and so forth. We can move this around and just sort of have a free roam camera. And then we can individually go in here and select pieces as we need to. And up on the top left, you're going to notice colors, which allows us to go in here and adjust the color schemes. And then we can go in here and look at the module menu, which is where we can see all of the various bits and pieces. Now, at this moment, because I'm not in creative mode, everything is grayed out. But typically, when I like to build things like this, I would go into creative mode and build it, and you would see all of these. Matter of fact, why don't we just do that? We want to cancel the changes, leave workshop, go into creative mode, just so that we can see what all those look like. I probably should have done that before the stream, but I forgot that I was going to do that. So let's go over here, creative mode, apply changes, then we go back into the Corvette build workshop, and you would then be able to purchase all of the pieces. Now, this is where normally if you wanted to get these pieces, you would have to buy them or find them. So in this case right here at this station, you have a purchase modules, and then there are some basic modules you can purchase or some advanced modules you can purchase, but you can also find modules out in the wild, so you have to go out and actually explore and uncover them on planets so you can bring them back and put them on your ship. Or you can go into creative mode, which is what I have chosen to done when I built this ship, and then you have access to all of these without needing to worry about anything special. And then we can go through here and look at all the different thrusters and landing gear and cockpits and types of habitats, and then structural decoration, which allows you to find other little bits and pieces to snap on, and then of course decorations. And again, this is the first iteration, so there's a healthy list, but it could always get bigger. And as you can see here, I've done like this is just a structural piece that doesn't actually do anything. This is a structural piece. This is an engine, as we say. One of the things I actually wanted to do, if you watched the last stream, was I actually wanted to pull off a piece. So we can actually do that really quick. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to go back into this, and then what I wanted to do was put one of these fins on, and I gotta find those. I think they might be over here. Yes. And I wanted to take that and I wanted to put it right there, and then I wanted to come back over here. I wanted to take that off. We're going to go ahead and delete that. Then what I could do if I wanted to is I could come over here, select this module. I could say duplicate. We could then bring this over here and slap that on just like that. We can get out of here, say that we're happy with that, confirm the changes, and now as you can see, we've got those modules installed. We can go up here and take a look at the modded version of the ship, fly around. Oh, I know what piece I took off. It's all good. And then we can see that I've just slightly modified that. Now those don't have this color scheme as the previous. So one of the things I would do is I would select this other piece, go to the color scheme, and say I want to just apply that to the entire Corvette. And then it would take that color scheme from that piece and apply it to all the other pieces, including which would just be the two pieces that I just put on. And then you have it. That is a quick modification to our existing ship. And then outside of that, we also can go into the ship, and there is an interior decoration version where we can come in here and find all of these different pieces. These are the interior modules that you can install, storage units and things. These are a deployable tech, advanced tech, and a bunch of other decorations that you can put, and you can scroll through and find all these things. And in creative mode, these don't cost anything, but you can see if you hover over each one of these, they all have a cost. Sodium, carbon, they might have different things that they need. You just kind of got to scroll through pure ferrite, metal plating, chromatic metal, gold. But because I am in creative mode right now, those aren't actually being applied. So what we could do is go back into normal mode here just so you can see what this looks like. And go into normal mode and apply those difficulty changes. And now if I open this up, you'll be able to see that I don't necessarily have all the bits and pieces to install all of these things. I might for some, but I might, I don't have silver. I don't have any silver to install these windows and things of that nature. So, in a nutshell, you can walk around the interiors of the ships. You have all the various habitats that we've installed. There are different types of habitats. This is the one that I've chosen to go with. I like this one because it kind of looks like and reminds me of the NASA punk theme that is prevalent throughout a lot of Starfield, and I like the Starfield ship designs, so I really wanted to emulate some of the stuff I've built in Starfield. So this has been a really cool addition. Obviously, once you get in here, you can jump into the cockpit, we could fly around, you can walk around in the interior now, you can engage in autopilot and run around inside. But this is essentially the ship building, or the Corvette building, in No Man's Sky. So now we're going to head on over to Starfield and take a look at the shipbuilding in Starfield. Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload, or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. All right, so we are now in Starfield at the Ship Services Technician. We can talk to him. We can go in and say I'd like to view and modify my ships. We could then come in and take a look at the ships that I have. I'm on a New Game Plus mode, so I only have a couple of ships available that I could potentially modify. And this is where we get into, as you can see at the bottom, the ship builder. So we're going to take this Junker Watchdog, and we're going to go ahead and look at this. Similar to No Man's Sky, we can see in No Man's Sky, it's up on the top right. You can see all the stats of the ship. In this case, on the top left, we have all of the stats of the ship over here. And then at the bottom, we can see a bunch of stuff related to hull strength, shield strength, cargo space, how much crew it can handle, mobility, top speed, all the other stuff. And then we get into, and as you can see, it's very similar. This is essentially again, No Man's Sky riffing off of this system. We have individual modules that we can select. We can choose to duplicate these, move them around, change the color on these, go through, and there's multiple different things that you could do with the colors. There's also, an apply all aspect of this when you want to do colors and stuff. And going through here, like I said, looking at all of the bits and pieces, and then of course the flight check to tell you if you're missing something before you can actually exit and fly this ship around. But this is it's essentially the same thing, but there is one major difference, which I want to show here in a minute. But right now we're looking at all of these bits and pieces, right? So if I came over here and got out of here, I would click the add button, and this is when we get into the all of the different types of things that you can build. So there are different habitats. And this is one of the things I feel like, again, Starfield has had more time to iterate on the process, whereas the Corvette building in No Man's Sky is in its first iteration. So I do feel like the shipbuilding in Starfield is superior in a lot of ways. Um, Not the least of which is I can see the pieces as I'm going through, and I can actually preview what they look like. And another difference here is that we have in if we go through here and pick like the Hope all-in-one, I can't remember if it's the 2-in-1s or the 3-in-1s. Go to variants. So there's all these variants, and they have different types of um, this captain's quarters, computer core, control station, infirmary, living quarters, science lab. Each one of these has a different interior layout, workshop. But then we get to the empty, and this is something where Starfield added this after the fact. They came in and made improvements to the shipbuilding. When they added the interior decoration component for ships, they added empty habitats. Now the habitats by default are empty in No Man's Sky, but here you have anything that's larger than a 1x1, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I played Starfield, but I'm pretty sure it's anything that's larger than a 1x1 has a regular variant, and then it has a or more than one regular variant, and then empty variants as well. So then you get to go through and say, well, what do I want to put into the interior? And then you can go in and fully flesh out the interior with whatever mods you want. But they also come with these pre-designed interior modules. So you can have like the Stroud living quarters, the Stroud science lab, the Stroud workshop, where you could go over and say, I don't want Stroud. I want to go Hope Tech, and I want a Hope Tech captain's quarters, or computer core, control station, all these different things. So there's all these different types of modules that you can choose from, and you've got habitats, you've got reactors, you've got your shields, you've got your structural components, you've got your weapons, you got your bays, your like landing bays and stuff. You've got your cargo space, you've got your cockpit styles, you've got your dockers, which are to dock with space stations, you've got your engine types, you've got fuel tanks, you've got landing gear, grav drives. In short, there are a lot more bits and pieces to play around with in Starfield's shipbuilding. But again, they've had more time to iterate on their shipbuilding process, whereas No Man's Sky, as it stands of this recording, it's in its first iteration. So I would expect to see No Man's Sky continue to add more modules, more habitats, more bits and pieces that you can put on your Corvettes as time goes on. It's a great system as it stands now, but I think Starfield's, as it exists as of this recording, is a superior shipbuilding system. If a little more complex, it definitely is more complex because there's a lot more going on. But you can really get into the nitty gritty and do some fun stuff here. Now, this is the part where I think for me as a builder, one of the things I really love about the Starfield shipbuilding system is if I want to take a piece and swap it out for something else and just play around with pieces to figure out what fits most, I can take a piece right here and I can move it and I can drop it over here. And then I can come back over here and say, well, I want to try a different cockpit, right? Let's look at the cockpits. I want to try a Viking cockpit. What does a Viking cockpit look like, right? And then I can take that Viking cockpit, and then if I remember how to move these around, it's been a while. There we go. And then I could slap that in place and say, well, do I like that? It's giving me a bunch of errors right now because it's not wanting to fit, but maybe I don't like the way that looks, so I would come in here and say, let's delete that. Let's try a different one. Maybe I want to try the Samurai cockpit. Oh, the Samurai enhanced cockpit. Let's take a look at that and say, well, what does that look like? So let's move that over here, plop that in place. Maybe I don't like that. Maybe I'm gonna plop that over here. So as we can see, what I've done is I'm plopping these pieces out, and they're just hovering in space, and I can then go over them, grab them, and drag them back in. Whereas opposed to No Man's Sky, if you want to take something out, you just have to delete it. And then you have to remember what piece it was in the list of modules when you want to come back and because maybe you want to try out 4 or 5 cockpits, right? So you delete the one that you had, but then you go try these other ones and you're like, oh wait, which one was the one that I was, oh, okay, it was that one. Whereas here, rather than just delete it, you can just pull it out and set it to the side, and then mix, drop pieces in, pull them out, drop another piece, and you can actually see them in real time and take the ones that you might want to use and set them off to the side. So you could kind of have this jigsaw situation where you have all these pieces of the puzzle on, so I could literally come in here and start stripping all of the components off of this thing and placing them over to the side here and saying, I want to play around. Like, let's see how this is built. Let's move all this stuff around and start really getting into the nitty gritty of this. That to me is one of the things I really love about the Starfield shipbuilding system. I want to cancel the modifications, and then I want to make this my home ship for the moment, because one of the things I want to do here is go out of here, because similar to the way No Man's Sky is doing it these days, we have our ship, and we can come over here. We can head on up into our ship, and once we get up inside, we can go up into the let's just board. I don't need to go to the cockpit. And then once we're inside of our ship, I gotta remember where it's located. There is is this it right here? I think it might be up in the cockpit. Let's see here. I gotta remember how to get around this one. Looks like we have a ladder that we have to use to go up. To get to the cockpit. I'm looking for the decoration, interior decoration thing. And I think it's in the cockpit, but it's been a while. That is the cargo hold. Is that it? Decorate. And this is where we get into decoration mode. And if we had a empty ship, we would have a lot more space to play around with. But this is a pre-designed ship. This is actually a ship that I think I got from a quest or something. Maybe I robbed a pirate for it. But similar to No Man's Sky, you'll see I've got crafting stations, and then on the left over here we've got all of the build requirements, aluminum and iron, so I would need bits and pieces, but I got cooking station, pharmaceutical labs, weapon workbenches. I've got all sorts of different types of furniture that I can place, sleeping bags, navigation consoles. I've got lots of decorations, bounty posters, things of that nature. I've got mannequins, we've got weapon racks, we've got weapon cases, a self-serving bounty clearance. That's cool. So there's lots of different things that we can come through here and place in the interior of the ship. Now, this is where, as you'll notice, this ship already has a bunch of stuff placed in it. You cannot edit things that come with it. So if I wanted to fully customize this interior, I would need to swap out the module that came with the ship, because this is a ship that I can't remember if I found this ship and robbed it from a pirate or if I got it from a quest, one or the other. But because it was a found ship as opposed to a built ship, this is an existing habitat that has workstations in it, and you can't modify those. I would have to strip this module out from the shipbuilding section, put an empty module in, come back in here, and then I could decorate this interior as I wanted to with all of the bits and pieces that I want to put in here. So, as you can see, both of the systems are very similar in nature. Starfield did it first in the sense that they had a shipbuilding from the beginning, and No Man's Sky has shipbuilding and has had shipbuilding for a long time, but it's different than the Corvette building that they just added, which is a riff off of the shipbuilding in Starfield. They're both great systems. They're both doing things in a similar way. Obviously, I think, like as an example, there's quite a few more interior decorations that you can place in No Man's Sky versus what you can place here. So again, pros and cons to each system, but at the end of the day, they both work equally well, and they both allow you to build some really, really, really cool ships. So get out there, whichever game you're playing, have fun, be creative, and let us know your favorite ships down in the comments below. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Daily streams on YouTube, Twitch, and now Kick.com, as well as TikTok. We'll see everybody in the next one.